Hello everyone, this is Randy, your sewing machine man. We're looking at a Janome. It's the Magnolia-7306. And this one came in from a customer who bought it from a friend because a friend wasn't having any luck with it. So she says, it's a Janome, it's a good little machine. So she sent me a little information in the text. What do you think? Well, Janomes usually pretty good, and I've had good luck with Magnolia-7306s. I can't imagine what it could be. Well, every now and then you get an outlier. You can get maybe 100 of these out of the box, and every one's going to have a little something going on, but generally they're all going to be workable out of the box. This one, I think, had some issues going in, or else it sat for a long time because it wouldn't go. The hand wheel wouldn't turn, and it was just real tight. And I said, well, this will be easy. We'll just clean this out, oil this and oil that. Nope, and no. So we worked on it for about an hour and a half. Yeah, that's what we did. And now, as you can plainly see, it is just running like you want it to run. But we got to this point, after we disrobed it, you can see it's missing some parts here. It's all in the back there. You can see the rest of it's thin candy shell or in the back. And I saw this thing, I go, wow, I don't know. I'm not sure it's worth it. I told her it probably would be, but I said, I don't know. So I set out to figure out what in the heck is getting it. Usually it's the belt. So I checked the belt. The belt was real tight. And I go, oh, great. The belt's too tight. So I loosened the belt, got it right. Still too daggone tight. Let me unplug it here so I can turn it around and show you the back. So back here is where the problem was residing. I took the back off there for illustration purposes. It has about 5 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws to take that thin candy shell off the back. Of course, you got to lift this up and slide it through the little notch in the back of the plastic. But what was going on was right here in the main drive shaft. And this is like the brothers that had the love affair with they take a ball bearing and they drill a hole in it and they put the shaft through it. And rather than have to drill a hole through the casting, which is pretty involved, they just set it in place like so, a little cap on it, and then you slide the shaft through. The ball bearing is supposed to spin. Of course, the ball bearing on both sides was dry as a bone, and the ball bearing was actually fused to the shaft and turning. I could loosen this set screw and this set screw and it'd take off, and the time back down it'd stop. So that tells me that that thing was locked up. And on the other side over here, it's even more interesting because the set screws are underneath. Back behind, you got to take the hand wheel off, you got to take the bottom winder assembly off to get those. But you take the little ball bearing, that's the bearing over there, shine the light back there on it if I can get it back in there, and you take the little cap screws that hold it on top, you loosen those, and you get the ball bearing sliding back and forth, and you take your penetrating oil and regular oil and you force it down in there and work it. And you don't, if a machine is bound up and going real slow, you don't want to tax the motor by making it work too hard. You'll burn the motor up. And oh, while I got it back here, let me show you what I was very surprised to see. I was stunned to see right here. What in the world are we looking at? Metal gears. Couldn't believe it. I thought this was going to be like most of the Janomes. It was going to be nylon with let's get over here and see it. Nylon with steel driving it. There's steel on the left and brass on the right. Nice. I could not believe it. I thought, wow, this is just amazing. I thought, was that plastic? No, it's actually metal driving brass. So I was surprised. It's got a nice frame on it. It's a cast frame, and they cast it true and it's straight. So, it's made in China. So when something's made in China, you kind of cross your fingers and see what you get. But it's not as bad as a lot that you'll see out of China. The Vietnamese have got a pretty good thing going on. The Taiwanese have had it going on for years and years. Of course, the Japanese are the gold standard. But everybody's trying to get someplace else where they can get their labor rate down and get their shipping, and everybody's out. It's price. So Janome, good manufacturer, make a nice machine. So I thought I'd give it a whirl, and sure enough, now it's going to be fine. I'll get it all back together and get it back to Lady tomorrow. She'll be happy. because she didn't know if she had made a mistake by buying this, but it's going to be a nice machine for her. It's got all your zigzags, got stretch stitch, overlock, 3-step zigzag, single overlock, inline zigzag, and it's got a nice button holder. So front load 15 class, that's always my preference. I don't like the top drop in with the plastic bobbin. So it's got a chrome plated bobbin, chrome plated bobbin case, chrome plated hook assembly, chrome plated everything in here. So this is solid. It's got a steel drive in the back, driving a brass gear. That's a plus. That was a surprise. So we got the bearing thing straightened out. And I tell people, if a machine sits for a long, long time, sometimes that's worse than using it every day. At least using it every day, everything's limbered up and get up and go. Now this one will get up and go because now the daggone bearings aren't fused onto the shaft. So now it will scoot. Let me plug it back in for my emphasis here and sign off with this thing flying. If it doesn't jam here. She's gonna be happy with that because before the hand wheel wouldn't even turn. All right, Janome Magnolia 7306. Get one that's been used. If the hand wheel is real tight, it could be that. Could be interesting, but if you can take it someplace where somebody knows what they're doing, they can get it fixed for you. Okie doke. Thanks.